Well, good evening, folks, and welcome back to the farm. It's really getting on in the day here. It's 9 o'clock at night. Just got the kids off to bed, and I'm coming out to work on a little side project in preparation for the greenhouse. So yesterday it just poured rain. Like, just poured. Like, haven't seen rain like that all year. Probably got about 2.5 inches, which is very welcome, by the way. Not complaining at all. What it meant is it was really kind of a sloppy mess around here today. So we just took the day and let it kind of dry up and soak in, and we took the kids over to Hythe. There's a really cool little store there called the Outpost. Lots of antiques and just lots of cool little knick-knacky stuff. So took the girls there. Charlotte bought a new cup for hot chocolate, so that was good. And then Ron phoned. Ron's the guy that's going to haul the screenings for the greenhouse project. So we kind of want to start with a level playing field before we start building a greenhouse. And I could bring in dirt, but I'll bring in screenings because it's going to pack nicely. And then I could build my frame, and that's what I'm going to do this evening. Not build the frame. I'm going to build the anchor pins for that frame, because right in the instructions it says, we recommend that you put this on a concrete foundation. Well, that's just not going to happen. But I will anchor it down to the ground a couple of feet, so it's not going to move. I kind of feel like they have to say, you should anchor this down to a concrete foundation, just because the likelihood of one of these things blowing away is, if not properly secured, probably pretty high, right? But if I'm pounding anchor pins 2 feet into the ground, and then I'm also tying 2 power poles, 50-foot power poles, one on the other side of it, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. If it goes, it'll be catastrophic. It'll be all at once, and there'll be nothing we can do about it. It'll just be one of those, like the movie Twister. It'll just be out of our control. But we'll do everything we can in our control to make sure it's pinned down, with the exception of, pouring a $20,000 foundation for a greenhouse. So the other day when I picked up the lumber for the frame, I also picked up rebar from Emerson Trail Building Supplies. He's just over on Range Rover 105. We're on 102, he's on 105, so just a few miles up the road. Really nice to have that resource right there. And I tell you, that's one of those things where you really want to support local. I could run into Beaver Lodge, but it's, what would that be, 11 kilometers from here to the hardware store. Or I could just run right there. And he always has, and his price isn't always the same or less or anything like that, but it's always fair. And he always has some good advice to offer, right? Quite often I find you go to the home hardware, you're not going to get that same level of experience that maybe you get just up the road here. But anyways, I got this 20-foot chunk of rebar. I was hoping he had the 2-foot sections. You can pre-cut 2-foot sections. I don't know what those are actually meant for, but I thought, well, yeah, just weld a washer on the end of that and we'd be in business. But he didn't have any of that, so I'm gonna get the angle grinder out, cut this into 10 sections, and weld some 7/16 washers on the end, and we'll be right uptown. The other thing I should do while I'm in the shop for the evening is get the weed whacker out. Certainly, it's already 9 o'clock at night. I'm not going to fire it up or anything, but my wife forgot to buy me a birthday present, so she ran to Northern Metallic the other day and bought me a new cutting blade for the weed whacker, because that's the ultimate dad gift for sure. But anyways, look at this bad boy. That's going to go on the end of the weed whacker, the big Stihl weed whacker, because we have a metal cutting blade right now, but you can go right up against flower pots and all kinds of stuff, and it just touches the side and it won't cause any damage, which is beneficial for sure. But then you get into some heavy underbrush and stuff like that, or maybe some young growth poplar or willow, and it just sits there and just glides right by. It's not really meant for that. It's meant for tall grass. Is what it's meant for, up against the side of a building. But this is meant to do all kinds of damage, and I'm very excited about this. When I was in England, actually, my big weed whacker had one of these, and you could cut through steel drums, and you cut down 2-inch trees and all kinds of stuff. So I don't know if this is the same spec of blade or not, but we're gonna find out. So I just got this little awesome little box MIG welder. It's gonna work perfect for this. Got my rebar all cut. Got a pocket full of washers. See if we can't make some anchor pins here. I'm gonna do this right off of a chunk of lumber here. I don't want to weld directly on the floor of my shop. That kind of heat can do all kinds of damage to your concrete. So I don't know if short duration if it would really do anything or not, but I know how much it costs to pour this floor. So I really don't want to screw it up. Perfect. There's one. Ooh, that's hot. Well, there you go. There's 10 big anchor pins all made up. Thing of beauty, I'd say. Anyways, well, I got the welder and the grinder out. I think I'm gonna drag that gate in that I brought it from the cows the other day. The cows went through and bent the pin and messed up the, well, whatever. There's a rail on there that kind of keeps all the bars kind of in line. It's all busted off, so while I got the tools out, I might as well finish that job too. This here's that gate panel, and you can see things are kittywampus, but the latch is the biggest thing, right? Like, that ain't gonna close. So I gotta grind off this nub here and get it pulled out of the sleeve, heat it all up with a torch, or I'll remove the spring, heat it all up with a torch, and then just beat that thing into submission until it's the right direction. Put it back in, weld a new handle on it, and then try and figure out something for that big wow in the gate there. All right, so the pin is out. As you can see, looks like a real old-fashioned hockey stick. And I unfortunately don't own an acetylene torch, but I got this Tiger torch, so we're just gonna go slow and steady wins the race until I get this thing red hot. I'm gonna find a big hammer and change its mind. Well, there she be, all straight. I don't have a quenching pit, but I do have a sump in the floor of the shop, so here goes nothing. Whew, it is hot in this shop right now. I gotta open the door. Probably a little bit of carbon monoxide in here too, so. That baby open. Get some fresh air in here. I have no idea where that chunk sucker rod for a handle went to, because it just went ping and away it went off into the bushes. So I got to figure out what I'm going to put on there, and I think what I'm going to do is I got this old double-ended wrench there, 15/16 1-inch that I found in the bush, and I'm never going to use this, to be honest. I'm just not, because it's all rusted up to hell anyways, and chances are if I want to recondition it to fight with it to get it, it's just not worth the work. But it is worth cutting in half with a zip cut and weld it on there. That'd make a pretty interesting gate handle. So we're gonna do. So I got the gate handle welded on. I want to say that turned out beautifully. And now I'm just trying to deal with the big whoop-de-whoop in the gate there. I set it down and I was able to basically stomp the majority of it out. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld up this brace here and here where it actually snapped off. And I really think the only thing for it is probably to just come by with the tractor bucket and just squish it into the mud and force it to find its happy place. And then that'll be a tomorrow thing, because look outside. I'm not firing up the tractor. I'd be the worst neighbor ever. But yeah, so 2 more welds and we're gonna call it a night. Right, so there you go. That's the gate handle with the wrench on it. Works perfect. Put a little grease on there just to keep things moving the right direction. But yeah, pretty stoked about it. It's still pretty warm. I don't really want to, but yeah, it's gonna make for some fantastic cow catching capability. It's a mouthful. Cow catching capability. Cow catching capability. There's a tongue twister for you. Try and say that 3 times real fast. Anyways, I'm gonna set this outside to cool. Tomorrow I'll go set up in the corrals and get a start on the greenhouse project. So pretty excited about that. So I'll let you go for now. Hope you have a fantastic evening. See you tomorrow.